Hi, I am Anup. I am a cinematographer working in Mumbai in the film industry and also regional film industry. And I come from city of Allahabad, now Prayagraj. I've done a cinematography course from Film Institute Pune in 2006, and after that I came back to Mumbai and started my career. And it started with me working with a page 3 website channel as a cameraman. It was called Lehre.tv. I started my career there, and gradually I did a lot of non-fiction shows as a DP, a lot of food shows, a lot of travel shows, and eventually I started doing fiction. I worked with the renowned cinematographer Avik Mukhopadhyay for 5 years. I used to be his associate and A-cam operator. So I've done films like Pink, Badla, October, Gulabo Sutavo, Sardarunam as an associate and operative camera for him. So my early age, I somehow when I was in class 11th or 12th, I had this feeling. I started watching first day first shows at my hometown. I used to enjoy that front seats viewing and whistling with the action and when the hero is entering and all those stuff. So I used to be a hardcore Hindi film lover, and I wanted to create more good films that touched me, the hero kind of films. So that was my early influence. Apart from that, I don't think, because all my family, I don't even have a photo frame back home. So I had zero exposure about art, zero exposure about painting or still photography. There was no interest till I was, say, in class 12th. And one fine day, I was a huge fan of, after Hrithik Roshan's debut film, I became a huge fan. I started following his career, and I used to watch his film back to back, first day, first show, and used to get disappointed. I used to feel, okay, they are not making good films. I should go and make my own good films. Initial idea was to make good films. I never knew how to make a film because I came from a place where it's not exposed to film studies. So luckily the internet was there. I'm talking about early 2000s, 2001, 2002. I used to search a lot of places where I could learn filmmaking. So I found out a lot of places. Jamia Millia MA Masscom could be a place. Film Institute Pune could be a place. Satyajit Ray Film Institute could be a place. So I found out about a couple of institute, but all institute, most of them wanted minimum graduation before you start course. So I had to do what I was doing, and I was doing BCA, Bachelor of Computer Applications. So I had to finish my course. So I've done my bachelor's in computer applications from BIT Ranchi. So the initial plan was always to go back to MCA and finish it and start a job. But somewhere in the third semester, I started telling my friends, boys, I'm going to do something in film industry. And everyone used to laugh. What? Do you want to become actor? Because none of us were exposed that there's a huge opportunity of working behind the camera that we never knew, because we always knew if you are in films and you are acting. So then I started Googling about possibility of what all you can do. So my initial thought was always to make a film. I don't know how, what all departments, I had no ideas. So incidentally, after my graduation, I gave my FTI exam and I failed. So luckily I have given 2 more exams. So I've done one one masscom course in Allahabad and one masscom course in IIMC Delhi, and I failed the Delhi one as well. So I left with one option, that was masscom course from Allahabad. So I done that. This is 1 year course. I finished that course. I've given FTI exam again, and luckily this time I was lucky enough to get a option. So my mass comm teacher, Mr. Sunil Umrao, he was my HOD there. He suggested me either go for go for a editing or go for camera, so that you are technically strong and you can sustain in industry, because being a director, it's difficult to actually get a break. So if you want to earn your bread and butter, you should be technically strong and you should do something that not everyone can do. So I think that was the idea of me giving exam for cinematography particularly, and that's how things started. The mass comm course was first time where I started clicking photos. Before that, I never used to click photos. Never used to think about frames. So the mass comm course was the ignition that I needed. After after FTI, I was looking to assist a lot of people. I managed to assist a couple of them here and there in ads or promos, but my regular assisting work started in 2013 with the film called Kill Dil. So there I uh, started assisting Abhigda as a second AC, and post that we have done another film, it's a very small film in 2015 that's called um, The Violin Player. So I was the only assistant there. It was a small indie film, but I was the only assistant. I started operating for him as well. And the next year onwards, we did Pink, where I was the primary operator for him and associate. So from there, I started doing more work. Then Pink happened, then I did Badla, and then I did October. Then the films happened, and I was lucky enough to work with topmost directors in industry: Sujay Ghosh, Shuji Sarkar, Shad Ali. Uh, so I've done work with good directors as well, so I got opportunity to learn as well while assisting, and good exposure with good script, good content. So I was part of good content, I can say, good films. So that was a blessing for me. Things happened in 2009. I shot my first independent feature. Again, it's a Bengali film, Manik Babur Mir, and the journey started from there. So post Manik Babur Meg, that is my debut film that actually released, that premiered last year in Tallinn International Film Festival. So post that, I've done another feature that recently released, that's called hashtag Homecoming. It's a Bengali English Hindi film. It's a very urban story that released on Sony Live this month, 18th of Feb 2022. The film I shot just before lockdown 2020, and right now post Homecoming, I shot Maharani season 1, and it was quite popular. I shot that in 2020 21. It released in 21 May, and one of the best viewed shows on Sony for a while. So post that, Maharani season 2 is what I'm doing right now. So basically, since I told you, in my formative years, I've done a lot of non-fiction shows, especially food shows and travel shows. So I always used to prefer camera in my hand and shooting with the flow. So, and being quick, giving more option to editor. So that became my style. And after a point, I don't know, something happened. The films I've done, say Badla or Pink, it had a lot of handheld shots. So that also added to my language that I was creating for myself. And I really like going handheld and being like not giving marks to the actors, or not just lighting for a zone. I really just give them freedom to move around so that they can perform, and I'm just capturing it objectively, just there, not disturbing their performances, but just there and capturing every mood. So this became my style, but of course this is not the only style I work. You want to go with the flow of the script. If the script demands certain kind of language, then you create that language and then you go for it. But handheld work is something I'm more comfortable with and quite happy to shoot like that. And I also prefer shooting with multiple cameras, because again, um, the way I started watching films, I never used to look at camera. I always used to look at the artist. Always used to look at the people performing. So I think if a layman is only looking at actors and not anything else, I think I should give the maximum leverage to that. I think if by multiple cameras I'm not halting their performances, then it's a bonus for everyone. So I won't mind working with multiple cameras as well. Even in Maharani season 1 and 2 both, I've been using 2-3 cameras regularly, so I'm okay with it. I think passion should be the one thing, because it's a very lucrative job, but also very hard work, because you need to have a mix of both your discipline and your creativity. For a camera team or for a DP, if you and your team, if you don't have a discipline, work discipline, and if you don't follow that uh, creative process with the discipline, then it's very difficult to be very productive on shoots, so for that, I'll just tell them to be more disciplined, be more precise by timing and everything, and of course your creativity, communicate it with your director, with your creative partner, and give best that you can give on set. Blunders, I don't think it's the right place to talk about blunders, many of them, but I'll just avoid them. Thank you.